Hi everybody, it's Diane. I have 5 glue books ready to go in my shop. But before I show you the glue books that I'm selling, let me just talk a little bit about glue books, because every time I do a series of glue books, I get questions. So there are new people coming to our junk journal community all the time, and they hear terms like junk journal, glue book, collage book, whatever terms we use for our journals, and they have questions about what they are. So my interpretation of a glue book is just that it is a book with empty pages, a variety of pages. So they do have images on them, some of them. And then you just glue images that you like. There is no story really behind them. It's not, I don't use mine to journal in. Sometimes I put words on the pages, but not always. Now this is a collage where I sat and just kind of did this whole arrangement in one day, in one setting. But then other times I will glue something on the page, and then I'll glue something on another page, and then the next time I come back and I have another image and I think, well, that would look nice on this page, so I'll add it. So I just kind of add things as I go back into the book. This book has a lot of empty pages left in it. This one has even more pages left in it. This one I use as more of an intentional collage book. So I like to use my vintage ladies from old catalogs and magazines in this book. So I will choose a lady and then select images and make a collage all in one sitting. That's what I do in this book. I call this one my collage book. But it's made the same way. Same kind of pages, which is pretty much anything. Any kind of page, magazine, books, you'll see in the journals that I just made what kind of pages I use. And this is an example of a completed one. So this is really full. For one thing, I made it with 6 signatures. I won't do that again because it's a very heavy book. And so it has a lot of pages in it. But this one is full. It was, I always say this when I show it, it was like this. And now it's like that, with inches in between the covers. And this one was my first glue book, so I just started gluing stuff in willy-nilly, just adding stuff in that I liked. I did some journaling in this one. And this is a really fun book to go back and look at. Now I want to point out this page because this is the background page, this man's face. This is a painting. This was the background, and I collaged all around him and left his face there. So you can do that if you see an image on the page that's in your glue book, collage around it. If you like that image, collage around it. Or completely cover it up. Whatever you want to do. This gentleman, this was part of, this was a gift bag that I used in as a page. And I just collaged around him because it's a Kate Greenaway illustration and I didn't want to cover it up. So that's just a brief look at some of my glue books and what you can do with a glue book. So now let's see the glue books that are for sale in my shop. I do want to tell you that I am going to include some stuff to get you started. So this pile of stuff I'm going to divide up between the 5 glue books. So there are some of the vintage tickets that I just got at the flea market, and some of these little perforated pieces that came off of the library catalog cards. I put them in here so you can have fun with them. There are some word strips that I've cut out of magazines and whatnot, and a variety of images from magazines mostly, I think, and maybe a few books that I will divide up between the journals, and then some of the scraps of cut off scrapbook paper so that you can use these papers to add to your glue book. So you will get a starter kit of things to glue into your book. But the point is for you to have images that you love, that you found in magazines and catalogs and books and all of that. So let's just start with the glue books. This one is called, I'm just going to call this one Tales because that's all that's left of the word. I think it was Nursery Tales, but part of the word was covered up with the fabric, so I just covered up the rest of it and it just says Tales. So I put 3 pom-pom or yo-yos on each one of the journals just for fun. So this is the original cover of this book, and I added some metal corners to it, and there's a yellow gingham fabric with some blue rickrack. And this is a trim that came to me all the way from Switzerland. I believe this one was from Eve in Switzerland. If you sent this to me and you're not Eve, you can correct me. And there's the back. So each book has 3 signatures, and there's either 11 or 12 folded pages in each signature. So that's a lot of pages that you can glue onto, because front and back, you know, take 12 times 4 for each signature, and then multiply by 3 to get the 3 signatures. You get a lot of pages, and you can glue whatever you want to, and then before long your book will be this fat too. So I didn't cover the end paper in this book. I think this is the only book I didn't, because I mean, who would cover that? You can't cover that. There's some gimp trim there. Some of the pages I took the papers and sewed some scraps together so that the pages would be wide enough, because most of these books are wider than my standard journals that I make. This is a vintage magazine page, and it's been reinforced with scrapbook paper down the center. This is a scrapbook paper. I think it is a scrapbook paper, but it comes from Hobby Lobby on the rolls of paper, so it's a nice quality of paper. And this is an engineer graph paper in red, and this is one of the original pages from this book, and it has the owner's name on it. Merry Christmas. This book belongs to Charles Kegel, Aunt Doris, and Uncle somebody. And I don't know the year. And this page was also reinforced. There's a page from a book, scrapbook paper. This is an envelope that I glued the flap down to this side, and you could tuck something in there, and you can collage on this large card that I put in there. You can collage on the envelope, and on the back of the envelope, and on this page. This is from a handyman's pattern of whatever the project was. This is 1949, and a legal size yellow lined paper, a tabbed index card. This one says XYZ, and it is hinged to something on the other side. Book page, scrapbook paper. Now this scrapbook paper is printed on the back, but that's fine because you're going to collage all over that and cover that all up. You're going to glue stuff on it. So now we're on the back side of the signature. So this is the piece that is attached to that tabbed card. Look at the 3 little kittens. Aren't they so cute? So that's the first signature. Second signature has a large envelope on the front of it. So it has and the back of it. It has a large index card inside, but you can put things in this pocket that you want to glue into your glue book so that they're all ready. So when you have time, you get your glue book out and you turn to this page and pull stuff out of the envelope, and you're all set to start gluing. This is from a vintage children's magazine, and I reinforced that down the center. Here's another little envelope. It has a little card in there that you can journal on. It's just fun when they have varying sizes, varying types of pages, and interactive things like envelopes with things that you can pull out. A children's book page. This is a pattern out of a craft magazine. There's just a card, and here's one of the original book pages, and someone scribbled on that with crayon. This is a planner from a planner tablet. This is from a large book. And a calendar, another largish book. And we're on the flip side again. And there's a tabbed card. It was on the other side of this card. They are hinged together. So there's no embellishment on, there's one of the catalog cards. No embellishment on these pages because you're going to be gluing stuff all over them. Large card. This is the other side of that big envelope, so there's more space to store images that you want to glue on the pages. There's a lot of space in between the signatures because I made a nice wide spine, so that means there's lots of room for these pages to fatten up. You saw the big book that I made. It doesn't have a gator mouth because I gave it a big enough spine, so even without this it doesn't pop open. I gave it a lot of room so that it just expanded and grew and didn't get like that, because I don't like books like that. This is an index or something from a book. Here's the title page from this book. This one is supposed to have a card in it. That's an envelope that I cut the flap off and then folded it in half to put in the journal. This is from an old photo album, a nice quality piece of paper. There's a library card, catalog card. A book page with some pretty funky images. These are supposed to be, who was that? I forgot. Bobby Fischer, the chess player. Pat Nixon. Ralph Nader. This is Cardinal Cook and Lawrence Welk. They're all Pisces, just so you know. That's what that illustration is. Famous Pisces. This one is just a large index card. Love that. I wouldn't want to collage over those little kittens. The end. So that's this one. This one is called Tales. Then we have Picture Dictionary. I did not want to cover up these adorable little images, so I just glued some little yo-yos right over here. This image was partly covered up anyway from the fabric. This is the handle of an umbrella, so it looks like it's on this. This yo-yo is on a stick. But it's just a really cute book. And I use this vintage fabric on it. And there's the back, which I also love. I just love the vintage design on it. So it's the same type of pages. Oh, I had a card in here and I took it out when I was sewing it together, so I'll make sure that goes back in there. Because I just finished sewing the last two together. So I'm not going to flip through every page. They all have the same types of pages in them. They all have the different kinds of envelopes and different flippy cards and stuff like that. They all have pages from their book included. And on the backs of all of them that I didn't keep the end papers, I put new end papers on. So I made a large pocket in the back to keep images in. And there's a bridge tally here with my signature inside it. So that's Picture Dictionary. We have Pooh, the Pooh storybook. I covered up the S. Sorry. This is a gorgeous trim that I put on there. I've been hoarding that. But I love Winnie the Pooh, so I shared my special trim with him. And this is another one from Eve from Switzerland. Now I'm not sure if I put this on right side up. It's a chenille looking, because I thought the other side was right. until I flipped it over to put the glue on it, and then I saw that. I'm like, oh, I think this might be the right side. But whichever one, either one would have looked good, but I love that chenille. So I'll just show you the front and the back, because again, the pages are very similar, and the bridge tally. And then the other two, I think, are spoken for. I know this one is, but a couple people had requested this one, but I haven't, I've responded to both of them, but I haven't gotten a response back in my Etsy shop. So we'll see by the time this video goes up and the journals are in my book. If this is in my shop and it doesn't have somebody's name on it, it's available. If it does have somebody's name on it, it's reserved for that person. It's a really cool book. I should be giving you the dimensions, shouldn't I? I'll do that. I'll start right now, and then I'll go back to the other ones with the dimensions, because this one is a big one. The two that were spoken for are big ones. This is almost 8 inches by almost 10.5. And this one I know is spoken for because she did respond to me. This one is, again, almost 8 by 10 and almost 10.5, so it's a little bit taller. Stories about Linda and Lee. This is a vintage homemade pillowcase, so it's vintage fabric. So pretty. And look at the back. This is a great book. And there's the pocket with the tally card and all of the pages. So these might not be, this one is not available, this one might not be available, but as far as I know, this one and this one and this one are available. And this one, the Pooh book, measures 7 by 10.25. My picture dictionary is 6.5 by 9.25. And this one is 7.5 by almost 10. I think I love the images on the front of this, but I think this one is my favorite. I think I like the size. I do like working on a large page, but I just like the size of this, and I love the vintage look of it. But I like them all. I would be happy to use any of them. So I hope you like them. Come on over to the shop and check them out, and stay tuned to see what's going to be next in my projects. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.